Hi, guys. Welcome to the PHP. I'm Booker. That is a man with a porn stash. Perez Hilton, how are you? I like that on you. I really like that look. I don't know why, but I think you look like a 70s cop or something. It's cool.
Thank you. I have not done this in 4 years. And I remember because the last time I did a stash was when my youngest daughter was born, and she's 4 now. It's crazy how quickly the years just fly by. So much to get to on today's show. A lot to unpack with this Zayn Malik, Gigi Hadid, and Yolanda Hadid drama. Also, Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson, more than just friends. Plus, Chrissy Teigen says she did the work and she wants to be forgiven. Loughlin is writing in on that because she wants to be forgiven too, and more. So fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a smooth and bumpy ride for the celebrities.
Okay.
How was your Halloween?
I did nothing. Not a thing. I bought candy. Not one trick-or-treater showed up.
Not one? Oh, wow.
My neighborhood's not big on that. It's weird.
Yeah, neither is mine, which is a good thing because my mom, like a true story, I wasn't even going to share this. I'll make it brief. My mom literally told me not to open the door. And my kids are older now. Well, and I used to just listen to my mother because it's easy. You got to know to pick your battles, right? What we used to do is we would buy the Halloween candy, put it in a bowl and leave it outside. And people would have the honor system and get what they want and then leave the rest. But my kids really wanted to be involved in the trick-or-treating and the handing out of the candy. So I was like, all right, let's do it. And my mom is like, somebody might just come inside the house and like rob you or whatever. Like, that's my mother.
Yeah.
So, but I did it for a little bit and my kids loved it. I actually had a very busy Halloween weekend and it was great, but it just leads me back to I really just want to move to Vegas, but I'm afraid to move to Vegas. Like, I did 2 things that required a little bit of travel over the weekend. On Friday, I went to Highland Park for an event and I left at 4 p.m. It took me an hour and 15 minutes to get there.
Traffic is definitely back indeed in Los Angeles.
An hour and 15 minutes to get to Highland Park.
My commute back from work now is back to like 45 minutes. It was like 20. It's doubled and then some. People are back. And then you look at all these offices and they're all closed. I'm like, where the fuck are these people going? You know, where are they coming from?
And then Saturday, I took my kids to this thing in Woodland Hills. 45 minutes without traffic. There was no traffic. I mean, like a little bit of traffic, but whatever. Anyways, Vegas is so small. 25 minutes max to get somewhere in Vegas. And then I had these oh God, they should freaking sponsor our podcast. C's Candy sent me a ginormous box of Halloween candy. But you know what? I'm proud of myself. I don't have Superman strength. I did cave and I ate a lot of it, but I contained it to just that one day when it arrived. And then I gave the rest away, except for one that I love the most. And I told my mom, save this for Thanksgiving because if I kept it in my house, and if it's just across the street at my mom's house, but if I kept it in my house, even though I didn't love that one or didn't need that one, I would have eaten it all. Thankfully, I'm just eating My True 10 CBD gummies, and you can get yours at mytrue10.com.
Oh, God.
All right. You really did nothing on Friday or Saturday?
No, I did not.
I'm
going to go see the band Måneskin tonight.
Oh, fun.
At the Roxy, yeah.
Fun.
We've been busy with the dogs. Like today, I'm so sad. I'll just be honest with you. I'm in such a crap mood. We give our puppies back today, and you know, the last set of puppies was kind of tough. And I think it was tough for personal reasons, just because I was so attached to this one dog. But the 2 dogs got adopted together by a family. And, you know, the dad got one who lives across the street, blah, blah, blah. These 2 dogs are being separated, which most dogs are from their pack. But, you know, they've been with us for 2 weeks. One, I'm not worried about. Paris, she's fine. London is completely enamored with Kellen. It just can't do anything without her. Is her shadow, walks next to her, cries when she leaves the room. So I just know, like in an hour from right now, those dogs will never see each other again, number one. And number two, she's going to be heartbroken without Kellen, so it's a whole different reason that I'm sort of upset this time around. Last time it was all about me. This has nothing to do with me, and it just bums me out. They're such sweet dogs.
It's a bummer because I meant to tell you this, but I didn't, because I didn't want you to take it the wrong way. But you were in the best mood last week. You were so happy and
it was just a good show. Yeah.
I didn't get comments like, "Oh, that Booker is such an a-hole."
1 week only.
I know.
I'm not like in a bad mood or anything. I'm a little sad for my pups. That's all. I keep trying to tell myself we're doing a nice thing. They're going to have great homes, blah, blah, blah. But I'm just upset.
Enough chit chat. Let's get to it. And I am thankful that we've got this podcast where I can hear your thoughts on this and see if I'm wrong. But what's wild is, I love also that we're not always doing a podcast like the day that something breaks. So it really allows us the opportunity to not just talk about the story, but also talk about the response to the story and the developments and everything.
And digest a story. Sometimes there's things that come out and you think one way one day. And I've done that before where we've done the show and I'm like, I wish I would have took a breath on that for a couple of days because I think differently now. I think that's a totally human and normal reaction to have. So you're right.
Yeah.
Good point.
So I want to briefly mention what happened and then I'll get more into it. But I want to start off with the response, actually, which has surprised me. So we all know Zayn Malik. He used to be in One Direction. He quit the group. He has struggled a lot with mental health issues, which he's been open about. He, for the last many years, has been dating Gigi Hadid. They have a child together, a 1-year-old daughter. They live a relatively quiet life in Pennsylvania, actually.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Thought they were here.
No. I mean, they also have, or she also has an apartment in New York City, but they're mainly in like horse country in Pennsylvania. She loves her horses. Her mom lives there as well.
No
it's
kidding.
Like
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Were they outside of Philly or something?
Bucks County.
I was just going to say Bucks County. I swear to God, I was just going to say, I bet they're up in Bucks County. It's a suburb of Philly. So it'd be like north of the city, but
all right, yeah.
I knew as soon as you said it, I knew that's where it was, Bucks County. Go ahead.
So we're going to get to the situation, but there was a domestic dispute between Zayn and his sort of mother-in-law. He's not married to Gigi Hadid, but she's the grandmother of his daughter. Okay. Table that for a moment. And the initial reports were that he struck her. And I love opinionated people. I don't always think that I'm right, but I hate hypocrites. And there's a world full of them. I don't think people could ever, and maybe I'm a hypocrite at times. I don't know. I guess we all are at points, but there's been this big movement of, Me Too and Time's Up and believing women and believing victims, ... Only if you like them. If you don't like them, then you don't believe them.
That's a good point.
Because when this story broke, it seemed like all of Zayn's fans, 99% of which are women, were not believing Yolanda Hadid. In fact, making excuses for any potential thing that did happen. Oh, I would have done the same thing if she showed up uninvited to my house or this or that or the other. And that's just gross. But, and a big but, I wish I could speak to those people to see if their thoughts have changed, because originally, a lot of those folks were using against Yolanda Hadid the fact that she used to be on a reality TV show years ago.
Mhm.
She used to be on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She's not on that show anymore. I think she quit. She wasn't fired. She chose to retreat from the spotlight a bit. And to put it all out there, I never watched her on that. So I don't know what her persona was on that show. You know, it's not real, okay? And people are not really acting, but they're hamming it up. They're playing a part in this non-scripted drama. And that carries with some of these people when they leave the show. So we'll get into what happened later, but I would love to speak to those women, young women who were not believing Yolanda Hadid, now that we know that Gigi Hadid herself has also made allegations against Zayn Malik. So now it's not just Yolanda, it's Yolanda and Gigi.
That doesn't make it true either.
Okay, I'm just saying.
And I'm just saying that as well. Like you're saying, well, I actually don't even know so much of the story.
All right,
I just know that there's something there. But what, two family members corroborate a story? Does that seem so crazy to you? And it could still not be that way? Doesn't to me.
All right,
so,
well,
I just, we don't know.
I'm inclined. Well, first, I believed Yolanda. Then, even more, I believed Yolanda and Gigi. And there was another witness there as well. So now there's two people that were there, plus Gigi on the phone. The other witness that was there was a bodyguard. Granted, I'm sure the bodyguard's on the payroll, but I don't, with legal stuff, like I'm me, right? You're not going to pay me enough money to lie when I'm talking to the police.
Yeah.
So I don't think a bodyguard would lie about.
I think there's two sides to every story, and one camp has one side and the other camp has the other side. Have we heard the other side of the story from Zayn yet or not?
Yes.
We have. Okay.
Sort of. He denies striking Yolanda Hadid. He said, I adamantly deny striking Yolanda Hadid. And for the sake of my daughter, I decline to give any further details. And I hope that Yolanda will reconsider her false allegations and move towards healing these family issues in private. I'm sorry, but I don't think there's any way you could spin it that she's wrong.
I just told you how. Number one, you weren't there. Number two, it's a family thing. You don't know. Sometimes when something happens, it's like that game telephone. You start a story and it goes around the room and it comes back and the story's different. And it's just fact. That's human behavior. No two stories are the same. One person's recollection of one thing is different than another person's recollection of a thing. And when you're telling a story, sometimes it gets amped up. Maybe he didn't strike her. Maybe he was like, just get out of the way. Who knows? I don't know.
Well,
and I'm not, and hell, he could have beat her for all I know. I have no idea.
We know a little bit more information, according to the police report that was obtained publicly. He shoved her into a dresser, and I guess shoving is a form of striking or physical contact, and also was verbally berating her, calling her disgusting things and just being awful.
Clearly there's some problems there if these kind of things are coming up. You know what I mean? Like these just don't pop up. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
and like, I don't understand, like people freaking out, like, oh, she showed up uninvited. So what? She's the grandmother of the child. Why not show up? That's what grandmothers are for. Oh, I'm here to see the grandbaby. I was nearby or whatever.
Sounds like there's some things going on there.
I'm not thankful this happened, but I'm, thankful that Gigi Hadid is free from this toxicity for now. But unfortunately, she's tied to Zayn Malik forever. after this incident happened on the 29th of September, in the wake of that, Gigi and Zayn broke up.
Mhm.
And a lot more has gone down also. His family has unfollowed Gigi Hadid on
Oh, wow.
Instagram. I
How
know, so
awful.
stupid. And I don't know. I do know this, right? Maybe Yolanda Hadid is not the best mother in the world, but even just like your average mom, okay? I'm just going to call her an average mother. I'm not saying she's a bad mother. I'm not saying she's a good mother. I'm going to call her an average mother because I don't know. But I would think an average mother still has her daughter's best interests at heart and is only operating from a place of doing
Well, that's a crazy statement, because you can't assess people that you don't know, that you've never met.
I'm just talking about your average mother. I'm not even
Okay,
talking about Yolanda Hadid right now.
but why are we? I mean, but still, I mean, why are you bringing that up? That's what I don't
To go
understand.
back, to all the people saying, "Oh, she should have handled it privately," or this
Who
or
cares what
that.
they say? These people, they don't know the situation. I mean,
All
that's all the internet is a bunch of speculation
okay.
upon. There's no facts behind
I,
anything.
I want to move on, but two last things. All that she's done, Yolanda Hadid, I think, has been with the best interest of her daughter at heart. Clearly, in
Well,
concert.
her best interests may not line up with his or their best interests, and
Well, why would it? Who cares about his interests? It's about
because
her
he's the
daughter's
father,
interests.
he's more important than she is. She's just the grandmother. It's their kid they're raising, not the grandmother. See, you have this whole life where your mother is sort of kind of raising your kids. You have a completely different situation than those two. Most parents, mother, father, live together with a child. They get the ultimate say, whether it's right or wrong. It's
Well, I'm
their
not
kid.
saying that the
Okay,
grandmother has a
but you're
say.
leaning that direction. All I'm saying
No,
is you seem to
I'm
be
just
leaning that direction.
I'm just saying if the grandmother shows up uninvited, that's not a reason for you to freak out and start
Well, yeah, that's
assaulting her and then
right.
shove her into a dresser
Right.
allegedly.
But you're just buying that narrative, though. Like, I still think there's probably a lot more to it.
Yeah, probably a pattern or a history of him doing things like
Or her
this.
doing something that we don't know about. I know
All
look,
right.
you need to start being fair. You don't
I
know.
am fair.
Oh,
So
okay.
this all happened a month ago. They tried to deal with it like a family and privately for a while. And then she said, you know what? This needs to be handled by the authorities. And I'm going to go to the
Okay.
police. And
Yeah.
this is what I think is best, and etc. And she did it in concert, in collaboration with her daughter, Gigi, because Gigi, like I said, also made allegations against Zayn to the police. And so did that bodyguard, because Zayn pled no contest to 4 charges of harassment. And as a result, he's now on probation for a year. It could be removed as quickly as 6 months from now. That means he needs to stay out of trouble, but he also has to take anger management classes and domestic violence classes. And
so there's a pattern of behavior here that's just
earlier this summer, there was that video of Zayn shirtless outside of a bar, like almost having to be restrained because he was going to get into a fight. Mm-hmm. There was that incident last year where that YouTuber Jake Paul claimed that Zayn Malik wanted to start a fight with him. At the time, everybody was quick to say, oh, that's just Jake Paul looking for attention. That's just Jake Paul making things up. But maybe that's not the case.
Yeah.
So there's that. But
ugh.
All you Zayn Malik fans that were victim blaming or not believing the Hadid girls or the grandmother, look in the mirror.
I've got no problem with any single one of them.
All right.
It's their dumb opinion. I mean, by the way, the opinion you just gave is your dumb opinion. My dumb opinion just came out of my mouth.
I don't think
we're all just giving opinions,
I don't think
every single one of our opinions, you know what they are? Misinformed, because we don't know. There's two sides to each story. And by the way, with everything you just said about the anger management and the police, and it's not the first time, I'm inclined to believe there's something going on over there. But in all fairness, I think, we've gotten so far away from
Well,
innocent until proven
no,
guilty in this
fair
country. That's fair.
fairness is saying I don't know if he did this, but I could still say I think he did it because of this or that reason.
Okay.
That's fairness. I never said I saw video. I never said I know for a fact the details of
No
what
one
happened.
said that you did.
Okay.
Didn't even imply that.
All right.
I just said that I just want to be fair, and by saying we don't know the entire story.
All right. Before we get to Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson, very quickly, from one housewife to another, Dorit Kemsley from The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills had a very scary incident at her Encino home. Her house was robbed and she was in there with her kids who were sleeping, and it was robbed at gunpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Happened, unfortunate. And I don't even know if I would or would not do the same thing, because thankfully I haven't been in this situation, but she's revealed in the wake of it that she has not told her children what happened. Okay, I just thought of it. I would probably tell my children what happened, only because she's a public figure and her kids are 5 and 7, and it might
I
get
think
back
that's too
to
hard to
them.
explain,
But
how's it
kids
going to
might-
get back to them?
From school, their classmates, like, oh, I'm sorry, what happened? Hello.
5 and 7. I'm sorry what happened. I don't see any kids saying, I'm sorry what happened at
Oh.
5 and 7. Are they that
Parents,
thought out?
because they might hear their parents talking about what happened to the mom, the housewife's mom of one of their classmates, and then the kids might just bring it up. I would think it's better to preemptively talk about it in a smart way, maybe even with a therapist, than have the kids learn about it through school.
No.
That's all I'm thinking.
Yeah, I have no idea. That's a straight. It's such an odd conversation to have with your kids.
Yeah, if
someone broke into the house.
Yeah, if the news hadn't been broken publicly, like if this happened to me, I hope it doesn't, and it doesn't leak to the press, then maybe I wouldn't tell my kids. But if it's out there, I don't know. Or maybe I would talk to the school. Thankfully, my kids' school has an in-house psychologist. I would say, what's the best thing to do here? And the school would probably say, be honest with them. That's kind of what they always say, but sending positive vibes to them, that's scary. All right. From the Hadids to the other family of note, the Kardashians. Over the weekend, the Kardashians, Kim and Kourtney and crew, showed up at Knott's Berry Farm to do their Not Scary Farm Halloween houses and everything. God, they probably roll deep, like they get that big, I'm sure they guarantee you they had a big party bus and had the best time going there. And they must have had like 20 bodyguards and VIP escorts and everything. And what made headlines was it could have been just the two of them. That's like all that you would know, really, if you just didn't even read the stories and you just saw the headlines. But it was Kim and Pete Davidson and Kourtney and Travis and a lot of friends.
Mm-hmm.
So they were there in a big group. But when riding a roller coaster, and we have photographic evidence, we've seen this, Kim and Pete were holding hands. It could just be friendly, but I don't know. Like I have platonic guy friends and platonic girlfriends, and I wouldn't be holding somebody's hand when riding a whole roller coaster.
Okay, well, I get that. I think you can. Like I do.
I mean,
have
you
some,
can, yes.
No. I like have platonic girlfriends. Like if we're out drinking or whatever, and we're crossing a street or whatever, a girl will like grab my hand. I think it's just instinct. And I'm always weirded out by it. I'm always like, oh, someone's touching my hand. This is very weird. Especially if it's.
But wait. But there's etiquette. All right.
Well, you're on a roller coaster too.
Wait, there's etiquette. There's hand holding etiquette. It's like, what's the etiquette coach? Ask
I know what you're
Nancy
talking about,
or whatever. I don't know. Dr. Abby, or I don't even know. It'll come to me eventually. You hold hands like this, not like this with your fingers interlaced like Kim
You've
and
thought
Pete
about this
were.
way too much.
No, it's true. There is etiquette. It's just
No one
you're
thinks of that when they're scared on a roller coaster.
I don't know. It's
There's no etiquette.
there is hand holding etiquette. If you're not the
Well, I don't think
girlfriend
it
or
applies to a roller coaster when you're kind of scared or you're gonna, flip over or
you
whatever they do.
hold somebody's hand, but when you interlace the fingers, that is next. That's just the
No
next
one
level.
thinks that way. No
Yes,
one
they
thinks that
do.
way. It's no, they
I'm
don't.
not being crazy here.
No. You are, because
No.
you're talking about an instinctual situation like a roller coaster. That is a product of fear, anxiety. Something's about to happen. You don't think what's the right way to hold this person's hand. You're thinking instinct. You just hold the person's hand. Now, if you're saying we're walking down the street, we're two sober people and, we're strolling, sure, there's an etiquette to it. But when you're scared, that's out the window. That's all I'm saying. You don't think about that. And I'm guessing she grabbed his hand. That'd be my guess in that situation. Because, I don't know. The guy could be the big scaredy pants. Who knows?
I mean, maybe.
But in my situation, it's always a girl grabbing my hand. And it's very personal to me if someone touches my hand. I mean, I'm the guy that when I take pictures with girls, I usually put both of my arms down. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to touch other people. It's not.
You probably don't even want to touch your girlfriend.
No, I'll touch her. She's the only one I'm allowed to touch, though. You know what I mean? Like if I'm, taking a picture with an artist or something, like it's Selena Gomez, I've got my arm. She could be leaning on me, or Halsey. They could be leaning on me, but I don't like to do the whole. It just seems creepy, It just seems creepy to me. I'm an old dude, and I just don't want to be draping all over, pretending like I know them that much.
It could also have just been, actually, I've been out. I'll mention who. All right. I once went to that same thing, Not Scary Farm, but earlier on in October, it was like the kickoff. It was at the beginning of October. It was in September. They had a red carpet event, and I was going around the park with a group of celebrities. And oh God, whatever. This is why people listen, a little bit of tea. Sometimes if a celebrity is big enough, they will, before they get on the ride, because Kim and Courtney and Travis, they did not close down the entire park. They could have, Kylie Jenner has done that in the past. They could afford to do that, but they didn't. But some celebrities, before they get on the ride, they say, don't take our picture, or don't put our picture up on the screen, because most roller coasters will take your photo in a moment. So Vanessa Hudgens, before she would get on all the rides, she would talk to the attendants and say, don't put our picture up on the screen. I'm like, Vanessa Hudgens is real diva.
That's very involved. Who cares?
I'm like,
you know what I mean?
And it's like,
people are dying for that Vanessa Hudgens exclusive shot.
Yeah.
Come on.
And it's like, it's many, 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 many years removed from peak High School Music hysteria. She's still famous, but she's like a B- lister. She's not even B or B+. She's like a B- star. Anyways, they didn't do that. So maybe, and also Kim Kardashian is media savvy. She knows she's in the park. Word gets around the park. There are probably people even following them around the park, getting photos and videos. She knows that any photo of her taken on these roller coasters, people will take photos of.
Yeah.
So
look, these are a different kind of celebrity too. They're in the business of having their picture taken everywhere they are. They're not talented. I don't mean that in any sort of, like, I'm throwing shade. They're not musical stars. They are reality stars. They rely on people talking about them and their personalities. Their personality and who they are is their talent. So they're not a typical, singer or actor or anything like that. They're just, reality stars. So it's a bit different. But I always find that with celebrities, first of all, Halloween's their favorite time of year because
I love Halloween.
Well, you're in costume. And a lot of the time it's the one time you can go out with anonymity where not every single person. I mean, Kim Kardashian's a huge star. If she goes out anywhere, if she went to the fucking mall, she went to Westfield Mall, she'd be a guppy in a fish bowl. You know what I mean? Like everyone would look. Halloween's great for celebrities because they could put something on and just blend in. You could go around the corner, you would be like, I don't know, you wouldn't know. You know what I mean? There's so much sensory things going on when you see everybody else's costumes. You wouldn't say, oh, there's a celebrity under there or behind that, or is that person dressing like that celebrity? You never know. So I think there's some of that too. I think that's why they probably roll deep to these.
So the bigger question is, are you excited about Kim and Pete possibly dating? Would you like to see that happen? I would, because it's new, right? Something else. We're kind of over, we're not really over Kourtney and Travis, although God, they had, it's wild. Like Kourtney Kardashian in 2019 and then Kourtney Kardashian 2021, she is like an it girl now. So many people went dressed as Kourtney and Travis for Halloween.
I saw that as well. I mean, they're fun to do. I mean, he's got all the tattoos. Those are fun to put on. And I think couples like, impersonating other couples.
Yeah. And then people went as Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox as well. But it was probably easier to do Kourtney and Travis, I'm guessing. Yeah. I don't know. They don't really make any sense. Pete and Kim, she's like 13 years older, something like that. There's nothing wrong with that, but she's 13. She's a lot older than him. She's got 4 children. She lives in Los Angeles. He lives in New York.
Yeah. I bet they're friendly. That's it.
They might be
the
fucking.
Same circle.
They might be fucking.
Yeah. Could they have, wrote it once? Maybe.
Or I didn't even think of this too. Kim might also want to just make Kanye jealous as well. That's something. So it's nice to see her having fun. It's nice to do adult things. I was a little sad over the weekend. I didn't do anything adult, but I did a lot of stuff with my kids. I'm a great dad.
Yeah. Did I do anything? I did nothing adult. Yeah. I drank adult beverages.
If I really wanted to do something adult, I could have seeked it out, but instead I just did kid stuff, and I'm a kid parent.
I'm in puppy land. That's where I am. So,
all right. Chrissy Teigen has begun her apology tour. Oh God. And then something that our podcast last week, I guess I had to get it out of my system. I've been hustling so much, doing so many freaking podcast appearances on other shows to promote our podcast and to promote My True 10. And I did this one podcast last week where I was just like angry and defiant. And I was like, to all of the people, I was like, I've apologized so much, even just this year and last year and for years. And I'm sort of done apologizing, which I kind of mentioned last week.
You did. Yeah, you touched upon that on this show last week.
Yeah. But then on this podcast, I was like, and to the people that are still mad at me, I say, fuck you. And like I was like real saucy, and then afterwards I'm like, I might have gone a little bit too hard. I think I went a little too hard in that direction. So thankfully it was like a small it was like a small podcast. It wasn't like a big one. So I don't know if I regret it, but I guess I had to get that out of my system, and I got it out of my system. And like, okay, I don't need to repeat that on any other podcast. I don't need to also apologize a ton, but I don't need to repeat that fuck you thing either. Cause that's not me. Like, I don't want to be angry and saying like, I've said it a bajillion times. The people that don't like me, it's with valid reason and yada, yada, yada. But only recently has Chrissy Teigen begun her apology tour, and in a big way, because she's coming out with, or just released, a new cookbook and gets big looks because she's still Chrissy Teigen. And one of her big looks was the Today Show. And of course, they brought up all of the drama and her multiple cancellations over the last year. And she says that she's done the work and thinks that she should be forgiven. Do Do you think it's that easy? Like saying,
Well,
"Oh, I've done the work."
I don't know if it's you can make the determination for everyone else thing. I think if someone wants to hold a grudge, that's their prerogative. It truly is. If you want to say, I don't like Perez Hilton, then that's your prerogative. You don't need to apologize anymore. She doesn't need to do the mea culpa every single time. Somebody brings it up. She doesn't have to sit there and do it over and over. It's like the Kevin Hart thing where Kevin Hart said, look, I apologize. I'm tired of apologizing. I'm not apologizing anymore. And I'm not doing the Oscars. And that's it. And he's done with it. And he just says, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. I respect that. Just look, I screwed up. I'm an entertainer. This is my business. Hers being a pundit online or whatever you want to say, that's her gig. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry you don't like the way she did her gig. And if you want to hold it against her, do.
I think the thing though is she hasn't given much time from when everything went down.
Well, or I could retort and say, you've given too much of your time to this whole mindset that you could blanket cover everyone with every single apology. I think it's impossible. I think that just, it is what it is. On to the next news cycle. Like holding a grudge against Chrissy Teigen, if you want to do that, I mean, it just shows me that you're a very shallow person. You don't know her. If you don't like her, don't support her. Don't go buy her fucking cookbook. If she wants to make a living at the Today Show, thinks that she's interesting, cool. If you want to tweet the Today Show and say, hey, this content kind of sucks, like I don't really care about her, I don't have a problem with that either. Do you, is what I say to people. It doesn't matter.
She's still on the Today Show. So that's a good look, and that'll help her sell her book.
They don't care about her book. They want her apology. That's why she's on the Today Show. They want round one of the apology. But as you know, at some point, she's going to be sick and tired of every time. Because, by the way, everybody that puts her on, that's the storyline. That's the story. No one gives a fuck about her cookbooks. She's not Chef Boyardee, okay? Like, give me a break. Like, come on. So I think at some point she's going to crack and say, I'm done apologizing, because that's the only thing you can do. You can't appease everybody, and you can't try to.
She does have other talking points and things that people might want to ask her about. And they did as well, from losing a child that was, I think, stillborn, or there was some issue. Like she delivered the baby. It wasn't a miscarriage. It was a far along pregnancy. So they talked about that, talking about her sobriety as well. So there's lots there to dig into, or even you could just talk about parenting or whatever. Let me just read you one quote, because I don't want to read too much, because she said a lot. She said, I feel like I've done the work, and I hope these people can forgive and be able to welcome the fact that hopefully they've seen me be better. But you know what, God, it's like, I don't really believe that we've made that much progress as a society. And I've said this, or like even last week when we were talking about Britney's sister, right?
Mm-hmm.
The public has had a shift of consciousness with regards to Britney Spears, but yet so many people are fucking bullying her sister and hypocrites, right?
Yeah, I was just going to say the words hypocritical today, because it really is. I guess I've always said that. That's my point about all of this stuff. It's just everybody's throwing rocks in glass houses. It's hilarious.
Or like one of the ways or places that it is the most glaring and most disgusting is in the political world, where it is not even just commonplace, it is accepted and almost expected that you're going to talk shit, berate, humiliate, degrade people that you don't agree with politically. But because the point is, at some point, everyone figures out when you start talking to the masses who happen to be asses, you're speaking to the biggest body of people. I always equate it back to grade school or high school. If you looked at the smart kids, the really smart kids, like I'm thinking of even West Virginia, I'm thinking of the smart kids.
in all of the classes, if there was 150 people in my graduating class, I think there was, I would say 12 of them were really smart. A dozen of them were really smart. You could say that person may be a doctor. They're going to go on to be a lawyer. They're going to go on to do something. The rest of you morons are us. We're not that smart. And as a society, we used to lift up the smart people. We used to say, hey man, I'm actually going to root for that kid in my class because I'm happy that she went on to be a doctor. I know that person. You know what I mean? Like, I think society should do that. We should say, wow, Dr. Fauci, here's a guy that's like dedicated his life to studying disease and understanding things. But what do? We listen to the dumb fucks and we tear these intelligent people down now because the masses are the asses. And we're talking to the lowest common denominator. And these politicians, these DeSantises of the world, they've all figured this out. They're all fucking buffoons. Now, if you don't get that as a listener, if you don't get that as a human being, I'm sorry, but you're one of the dumb kids in class. And I refuse to listen to you dumb anti-vaxxer fucking kids. I'm going to listen to the kid that I lifted up and was smart and said, I went on to be a doctor. And that person says, yeah, this means this and this means that. And they dumb it down for dopes like me to pay attention to. That's what needs to happen in the world, but it's not. It's the erosion of our education and our country. That's where we are. And it's so unfortunate. And I see it. This show is another example of that. When you tell the stories of these Britney morons and these people, these Zayn Maliks that know this and that, you don't know anything. You're just guessing, you know?
It's so funny you brought up something that I was thinking about yesterday. I felt really sad for my mother. She and you guys, I post my videos on YouTube, not in a out of order at times. Like I might post a video that I filmed 4 months ago, 30 seconds. My mother told me yesterday she didn't want to be on camera because in a recent video that I posted, her hair wasn't done up. And somebody from Miami told her that she had like holes in her hair and that her hair didn't look good in a video. And I'm like, you're 68 years old and you give a crap what one of your friends from Miami said about your appearance in one of my videos. And not only that, it's like, those people are clearly jealous. And the people that criticize you for how you look in my video, they're going to criticize you also if you're not in my videos. Oh, why aren't you in your son's videos anymore?
Well, and that's a little fucked up because that is her son's business. Okay. You're a content creator. Okay. That's what you do. That's part of what you do. And for them to even bring up anything, it's just, it is. There's some jealousy there and it's kind of fucked up. You know, it is fucked up.
I got pissed. Anyways.
I get it.
From Chrissy Teigen to Lori Loughlin. Lori Loughlin is back at work. She has a new holiday project coming out. I don't know if it's a holiday movie or if it's like a mini series or a
sounds like one of those Hallmark things to me. You know what I mean? Like one of those. It sounds
like it, but it's not. It's not? Exactly like that, but it's on some other network I had never heard of before. GAC Family. It's like.
I feel like that's like one of those, like when you get a Samsung TV, there's like 42 of those channels you've never heard of before. That's one of them. You know?
Yeah, it's. But I don't want to diss them because I would.
Yeah, we would be on that channel in a second. I'm just saying we've never heard of you.
Yes.
We'd love to, though.
Yes, it's a fairly new. It was founded in 1995. And
I don't care about that. So let me ask you a question. Would you not watch a show that she's on? Would you be, I mean, you don't really watch shows to begin with, but it's a holiday show. Like,
but
if you knew it was
wouldn't
something.
Watch that one. I don't.
But you wouldn't watch it because of her. You wouldn't say, I'm not watching this. You wouldn't give a shit, right? Either would I. And I think most people don't care. You know what I mean? Like it's free and I could watch it. It's entertaining. I'll watch. I don't care what she did with her kids and her college scandal. I don't.
If they were to reboot Full House again and they were to bring back Aunt Becky, I would watch because I loved Full House. If I watched. I would, but
well, it's a bigger conversation. I mean, it's more into the line of, you know, you love R. Kelly's Ignition, but would you still listen to Ignition because you know who he is? You know what I mean? Like, are there different levels of it? Is the art different?
I probably wouldn't be. I probably wouldn't be streaming R. Kelly because I don't want him to be getting my money.
Yeah.
But also, you can't compare what Lori Loughlin did to what R. Kelly did.
True. I mean, I guess I'm just asking you, how far do you go when you say no to someone? A lot of, like, let me give you a different example. A lot of people don't watch the NFL because of some of the things that some of the players have done, which
Really?
are, oh yeah, oh, yes. There's a lot of players that have done some really horrific things and domestic abuse
Well,
and
I know that, but I
some
didn't
of their
think.
words. Oh no, there's a lot of people that have given up on the NFL. Now the NFL is still king. I think at the end of the day, they are still in the business of whatever happens on the game. People are just going to watch the game. Like, we don't get too invested with who's under the helmet and the kind of person they are. I just don't think most people care.
Well, she has been laying the groundwork for her return in this upcoming project, the holiday thing, and leaked, and smartly, it's a good look. Lori Loughlin paid $500,000 to put 2 college students through school. Kind of like, to make amends, reparations, karma cleaning for her own 2 daughters that she got into USC in an inappropriate way. I think that's a good thing. She already paid a large fine, so this is on top of that. And, I'll use my talking point that I use all the time. If Hollywood is going to forgive Mel Gibson and allow him to have a career and still do things,
right,
then freaking Lori Loughlin should be able to get back to it.
She'll do just fine.
Yeah. Speaking of projects and actors, Ice Cube dropped out of a new movie because he chose not to get the vaccine, the COVID vaccine. All right, your body, your choice. Oh my God, here's a spoiler or an exclusive. Oh God, I'm not going to get in trouble for this. Children are finally going to be allowed to be vaccinated this month, even though it has not been publicly announced. I got an email from my kid's school saying that they've gotten word, and they've even set up dates to they're going to set up clinics at the school. So cool. I'm excited. I want us to get back to normal, even more normal. So
I don't think it's ever going to happen.
Well, are we going to have to keep going through all these protocols forever? Because COVID's never going away.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, there's so many developments with this whole Alec Baldwin sad situation. I don't want to get to all of them or most of them. Just 2 very briefly. Alec Baldwin is hiding out in Vermont. When you're as rich as him, you can do whatever you want, right? Like, I would think his children have to be in school, but he probably could afford a tutor to just teach his 5 or 6. Well, actually, most of his kids are really young, except for his oldest. Anyways, he was confronted by the paparazzi, and he gave them some sound bites, and hopefully they'll leave him alone. Like, do you really need to be harassing Alec Baldwin every day in Vermont? I don't think so. A lot of developments with what happened, but one of the things that upset me the most was finding out that crew members on that film were using real guns with real bullets for pinging. It's like a thing people do in parts to pass time. It's like target practice, basically.
Yeah, I've never heard it called pinging before, but yeah, I heard they were just out there doing target practice. You're bored, you're out in the desert, they were shooting guns, but I just can't believe they'd shoot a gun that's used in a movie. You gotta be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. How that gun isn't under lock and key, I have no idea. And I'll never understand it. I never will.
Dumb. Also, I don't want to call this dumb. I'm going to lead from a place of empathy, but this went viral. There was this one influencer who took photos at he did a full-on little photo shoot at her father's funeral and got all dressed up, hair, makeup, sexy dress, black sexy dress, and posed in front of the coffin. In one of the photos, you even see her dad's hands crossed over.
Oh no.
Yeah. This influencer, Jane Rivera, I believe is her name. She says she did nothing wrong. She said, I took the photos with the best intentions in a manner my father would have approved with had he still been alive. Everyone handles the loss of a loved one in their own ways. Some are more traditional, while others might come across as taboo. For me, I treated the celebration as if my father was right next to me, posing for the camera as he had done on many occasions prior.
Once again, you don't have to follow this person. She seems like a dope to me. And if you did, it shows me the kind of person you are. Okay. So to each his own, I agree with her. If she thinks that, cool. But to you, if you follow this Jenny Rivera, whomever this is, whoever, I have no idea. You're dope. You're dope.
No, not Jenny Rivera. Jenny Rivera was an iconic Tejano singer.
I know.
Jane
She was
Rivera.
amazing.
You knew Jenny Rivera?
Uh-huh.
Oh, all right. Also, speaking of not apologizing or sort of apologizing, Adam Levine sort of apologized for his reaction after this Maroon 5 fan jumped up on stage during a recent performance. And I am no Adam Levine or Maroon 5 fan, but I don't think he should have apologized or mentioned it in any way, because that fan was totally out of line, even more so now because we're still dealing with COVID.
Yeah. I don't even know what happened, and I'm on his side. You stay off a stage. You don't run onto a baseball field. You should be shot if you do. If you step onto a stage, you should be shot. I have no tolerance for any of that. None of it.
I want to share briefly some positive Paris Hilton news, because I don't want people to misconstrue what I said about her last week. I like Paris Hilton. I think she's awesome, an icon. And she just announced a new podcast with iHeartRadio called Trapped in Treatment. And it is going to be exploring, these facilities that treat young people and abuse them. So there's that. Facebook is now Meta. That's Meta stupid. And finally, Ed Sheeran released a new album. Have you listened to that?
I haven't yet. I've been meaning to. I just haven't gotten around to it. I should have listened to it yesterday walking the dogs.
I got to tell you, I was shocked at how much I loved it.
We love Ed Sheeran. We both we love everything he's done.
No, I know I love Ed Sheeran, but I think this is his best album. So he's like topped himself.
Wow.
It's
cool.
like,
I'll listen to it.
There's not a single bad song on it. It's exceptional from start to finish. So
is it very pop like the
no, it's everything. It's
everything again. Okay.
Yeah, it's very pop. And then there's like the smaller, like the pretty songs, so it's all of it. I love it. Check it out.
He's the best. I love Ed.
Yeah. All right, let's take some calls.
I hope you jump off a roof.
What? Wait, what?
Want to hear that again? I hope you jump off of a roof.
What?
I hope you jump off a roof.
Why? What?
I hope you jump off a roof.
That's it.
What was that about?
I don't know.
Maybe it's a Zayn Malik fan.
That would be my guess. You know what? That sounds like a Zayn Malik. That's a very young person.
Yeah.
I hope you jump off a roof.
After the Zayn Malik situation happened, I went live on YouTube and I made a video, and that got a lot of attention. So
Hey, Perez and Booker. My name is Mike, and I am from Chicago. Perez, I actually met you years ago.
Mike is
when you
handsome.
did your first book signing.
I can
have
tell.
a photo, which I can tweet it at you. And
Mike is
hopefully
hot.
you give it some love. But just wanted to say, I always listen to your podcast, and I noticed recently y'all get in fights way too many times. But I just watched and listened to the last episode, and you guys were just so fun again and just got along. And honestly,
I told you.
See, you brought that up. That's
Yes.
funny. That's really funny.
I
Listen.
told you,
we're
you were
dealing with
less
a lot in the world,
asshole-ish.
and we need
Listen, I can't take away my assholeness. It just doesn't work that way. But
more of your banter when you guys are not at each other's throats. So enough Britney talk where you get really heated. And thank you so much for an amazing podcast. I listen to it every week on my way home from cycle class.
so you don't remember the guy?
No, but let's have sex.
Let's have sex. All right. Let me do one more call.
The calls this week.
Perez Booker, my man. Yeah, boy, I love you too. I think you're so cool, and I want you to go to the school. Yeah, yeah. Perez and Booker, you my best guys ever. Woo-hoo. Yeah, this is Bubba from Louisiana. I want to let y'all know I love y'all ass so much, and I can't wait to hear myself on the show. Yay! Perez and Booker, you're my man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I love y'all. Okay, bye-bye now. See you later. Ta-ta. See you never know. Bye-bye.
I love a Louisiana accent. It's my favorite.
She was kind of doing like that Elton John and Kiki D song, Don't Go Breaking My Heart.
Okay, all right.
Nobody knows it.
Nobody knows it.
God, did they still have that soup show on? No.
No, Talk Soup? I don't think so.
We need to be on TV. It needs to happen.
I gotta go. I gotta go take these dogs to their new owners. I'm so sad.
All right, everybody. I don't think I mentioned our phone number, 800-721-1185. If you have a question, call us, 800-721-1185. Tell your friends about our podcast. Booker loves the audio version. I love the video version on YouTube. Share whichever. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.
Take care, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.